Welcome back to the PAC Sports Network for our halftime show, as we are now joined by Allegheny men's basketball junior guard Luke Barker. Luke, first off, thanks so much for joining us today. I know that you've been playing really well over the last few games, including a couple 20-point performances. What's been working so well for you on the court as of late?
Yeah, I just have trust in my coaches and teammates, and I trust in our game plan. So that's the main thing going out there, and then out there on the court, like I said, I just have faith in my teammates and my abilities to go out there and make the right plays.
Well, I know that we'll touch on a little bit later on about your team and your first year head coach as well, but I want to first start with the here and now and just what led you to Allegheny. What was it about the school and the program that drew you to Allegheny to want to continue your career there?
Yeah, the first thing's academics first. I take that real seriously, and I knew going into it like Allegheny had a good computer science program, and that's my major, so that's what I wanted to do. And then secondly, it was really easy to talk to the coaches. Like I had a good relationship with them through the recruiting process, and I really liked the system that they had here. So yeah, those were the two main things that led to me coming here.
Well, I know your first year you were in the NCAC as the conference, and now you're in the PAC. So a little bit of a switch for you. What was that like going from one conference to the next, after just being in college basketball for a year?
hmm Yeah, change like that's not easy. Like going through any change is hard. I would say one thing that was nicer about it was not having to travel as far. Like I said in the first question, like I take my academics seriously. So sometimes on far trips, it wasn't easy to get like homework done and stuff like that. And now I get back earlier, have more time to rest and do homework and stuff like that. So that's nice. Playing in the pack, that's one of the things that I like about it.
It's funny you mentioned that your former teammate Caden Hinckley. I interviewed him last year. He said the same exact thing. He said, I get to go to bed a little bit earlier playing in
hmm
the PAC. So that's always great that you get a little extra sleep. But last year, your team really made a splash in the season because you guys made it all the way to the title game last year in the PAC. What was that run like for you and your teammates? But also, what was it like just playing in such a big game in front of your home crowd?
Our school hasn't experienced something like that through our basketball program in a long time, I know. So I know it was real exciting for the school and the community. And then I've never really played in a game that had that much meaning to it and that much hype around it before. I remember in warm-ups of the championship game, I was telling people like this is the most people I've ever had like at a game. And yeah, it was just probably one of the most fun experiences I've ever had playing basketball.
Yeah, definitely a memorable one for sure. And just being able to be in front of your home crowd, I'm sure a very exciting feeling for you and your teammates. But I know you've separated yourself on the hardwood with your scoring ability and especially from beyond the arc as a great three-point shooter. How often do you work on your three-point shooting during the season, but also in the off season?
Yeah, one of the keys to I think my success is just making sure I'm always in the gym. I make sure to shoot on the gun at least like 3 to 5 times every week in the summer. And I think that's the key to having success is just consistency and making sure you're always working hard, even if nobody's watching.
Yeah, it's important to keep that kind of that rhythm going even when you're not, in off-season mode trying to work out and whatnot. Keeping that going in the season is always so important. But this season also, like you mentioned earlier, a little change for you guys because you're under your first year head coach, Josh Clemens. Would love to hear just what that adjustment was like for you when he first, came on campus and took over the reins, but also how's it been as the year has gone on, just adjusting to his style?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, change is never easy, especially like I found out in September that we were going to have this change, but one of the things that's making it easier is communication. I think that you just have to be open and have active communication so that everybody, you and coach, like all your relationships, everybody knows what everybody's thinking. And then on the court, we pretty much run the same system, so it's just that part of it's the same, but it's more off the court. And I think the more communication that we have, the easier it's made it for us this far.
Communication is key. So that's great that you guys have been able to kind of sort through that and obviously, get a little bit more adapted to Coach Josh Clemens' style of play. But Luke, it's been great to get you on the show. Before we let you run, before we let you out of here for our halftime show, want to hear from you. I know that this is your junior year, so you obviously have more basketball ahead of you. And you have a lot of young guys on this team as well that have really done a nice job and have kind of carved out some nice roles for themselves. What do you hope that your team will kind of build on from this year moving into next year?
Yeah, I don't really like to look ahead past this year, but I know we have 6 games left, so we're just gonna try to, like you said, build more chemistry. We do have young guys with big roles right now, and I still have another year, so we're gonna try to just use these 6 games and just build off of that for next year and just see what we can do with these last 6 games.
Well, we definitely appreciate your time today, Luke. Thanks so much for stopping by on the halftime show, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's Allegheny's junior guard, Luke Barker. Don't go anywhere, as we will have more from today's halftime show coming up next on the PAC Sports Network.